안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 디센트럴랜드 메타버스 세계에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 자, 오늘은 디센트럴랜드 컨텐츠 이용자 수의 30% 이상을 차지하고 있는 디센트럴게임즈 다오 조직의 설립자이자 CEO인 안소니 마일스 씨의 인터뷰 영상을 함께 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 이번 인터뷰에서는 마일스 씨가 디센트럴랜드를 어떻게 처음 접하게 되었고, 그곳에서 어떻게 디센트럴게임즈라는 P2E 게임 조직을 만들었고 앞으로 어떻게 이것을 운영해 나갈 것인지에 대한 자신의 생각을 공유하는 그런 인터뷰입니다. 자, 인터뷰에 바로 들어가기에 앞서서 디센트럴 게임즈에 대해서 잘 모르시는 분들을 위해서 간단하게 얼마 전 코인데스크 기사 자료를 인용하여 간단히 설명을 드리면, 디센트럴 게임즈는 NFT 기술을 활용하여 P2E 형태의 무료 포커 홀덤 게임 서비스를 하고 있습니다. 자, 이러한 디센트럴 게임즈는 디센트럴랜드 이 전체 맵의 북서쪽에 위치를 하고 있습니다. 현재 하루 평균 6,000명 이상이 전 세계에서 게임을 즐기고 있으며, 이는 디센트럴랜드 전체 이용자 수의 30% 이상이라고 합니다. 지난 3개월간 비지 거버넌스 토큰, P2E 게임, NFT 판매 등 다양한 수입원을 통해서 750만 불 이상의 수익을 냈다고 합니다. 정말 엄청나죠? 자, 그러면 이제 디센트럴게임즈 CEO인 마일스 씨의 P2E 게임과 오픈 메타버스를 어떻게 시작하게 됐고 어떻게 생각하는지에 대해서 인터뷰를 통해서 알아보도록 하겠습니다.
I've heard you mention the word metaverse multiple times. I know. How would you explain that to them, Miles? What is a metaverse?
Yeah, so I'd say like the bigger, definition of metaverse is kind of like that's kind of in the public eye now since Facebook, has pivoted to Meta, is like kind of this virtual space, like shared virtual space, and it's essentially just like the next iteration of social media and just kind of like socialization, on the internet. And virtual world is a great manifestation of that, just because you can see the other person's avatar, you can speak with them and chat with them, play games with them. And so yeah, I think it's a bigger definition of it is mainly just this shared virtual space that anyone can access on the internet from anywhere in the world and enjoy experiences together. And then of the metaverse, there's kind of this like subsection of the bigger metaverse movement that's kind of referred to as the open metaverse within the Web3 and crypto communities and NFT communities. And essentially, the open metaverse is like this kind of economic system. They feel that using a blockchain to keep track of digital assets is the correct way of doing it. Just because if you're on a centralized platform and you have assets within that ecosystem, you can't move them out of that ecosystem. You can't extract that value and move it to some other. You can't swap it for other crypto, or you can't use it in another game. And at the end of the day, whatever platform, if it's a centralized metaverse, they essentially can, remove and take away your assets. And so by using a blockchain to keep track of ownership, it kind of gives like these digital property rights to the participants and the players in that specific metaverse. And so, I obviously am very bullish on open metaverses just because of the property rights. People are willing to pay a lot of money to accumulate assets because they kind of know that they actually own those assets. They have custody of them on the blockchain. And so no one can, take them away. And so, obviously we're very bullish on that idea. And I think it's really just in its infancy. And, the next couple of years is going to be a pretty wild ride. And so for us, we kind of felt that, building a game that everyone typically, likes to play, like poker, adding kind of the token economic element to it to earn, as you play for free, and tying it to ownership of these NFTs that you can have custody of on the blockchain was a great combination. And we feel that, we have very big plans for Ice Poker and Decentral Games. And, we feel that establishing ourselves as, a leader in, this blockchain gaming space that's growing exponentially now is a good move.
Now, I want to go back one step further, Miles, and someone in the chat asked, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into Decentral Games, your background. Tell us a little bit about you for a second. Your background,
okay.
Did you go to college, your previous jobs, anything at all you want to share on how you got to Decentral Games and your background?
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I grew up in San Diego. Uh, you know,
Lucky you, man.
ended up going,
San Diego. So amazing.
yep, San Diego. And then, ended up going to school at UCLA, studied math and economics and started my first business when I was there.
Nice.
It was an e-commerce business, kind of like electronics e-commerce business. Um, to the point, I scaled it to a point where, when I graduated, it was generating enough cash that I, didn't have to get a real job like many of my, peers and friends did. And so that was in 2017. And, then and there, I, started investing in various cryptocurrencies. I didn't really understand, a lot of the kind of Web3, the Web3 angle. I kind of viewed it as more of like a financial asset. I thought it was interesting. And, over time, after doing several, ICO investments, including Decentralland, which was in August of 2017, I believe, I kind of got more involved and kind of was diving deeper into, what you can actually build using that technology. And so as, initially an investor and then kind of started building all various types of applications using, Ethereum, I kind of was able to determine, what I thought that, would be popular. And, the thing with Decentraland that appealed to me the most was like, I just felt that, during a time of all these scams and ICOs in 2017, it was one project that I felt that could actually deliver and had a really good use case for crypto and, NFTs, because it was like a virtual world. And so, was kind of involved with the community for a year or two. After that, we participated, in the land sale, just kind of watched from afar and just kind of messed around with making various different applications on Ethereum. It wasn't until 2019, early 2019, when I realized that no one was really addressing the most obvious use case of the metaverse, which was, multiplayer wager-based, games. And I felt that, it would be really easy to onboard a lot of folks, especially when the user numbers were really low, to games that were familiar to them. And so I felt that, casino style games would be, popular initially.
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of what we started building at Decentral Games, is casino style games, just because, they've been popular for a long time. And so we started with slots, then, went on to roulette, built backgammon, blackjack. And then it wasn't until recently that we built poker. It was about a year ago we started building poker. And so, yeah, we kind of had a traditional, business model. Initially, we just, wanted to make, it playable with crypto. It wasn't until October 2020. And that was when I wrote the DG white paper. And, it was kind of inspired by a lot of these DeFi, token models that popped up, basically with the mechanism of distributing, the token, the governance token, to the community by using the product. And then that governance token governs the treasury that accrues value from that product or platform. And so that was kind of our first, foray into, having a token that's live, and, launched that December 1st of 2020. And so, a little over a year ago, grew the community around that idea. And then it wasn't until this last summer, actually, it was in July of 2021. I remember I was in Paris for an Ethereum conference called ECC, and it's right when like Axie Infinity, started picking up. Everyone was talking about it, FOMOing about it. This like new play to earn, wave of crypto. And it was until then, then I really dove into, how it actually worked and looked into the economics. And I felt that, it was something that was just bound to be massive. I thought it was like, just like the first iteration of some much larger movement in the space, kind of like how Compound was like the first project that like, experimented with this whole like liquidity mining idea. And then basically that kicked off DeFi summer, where like everyone, released tokens based on like these liquidity incentives. I felt the same thing would happen with blockchain gaming, but Axie Infinity was like the compound, and then obviously the explosion of innovation kind of occurs after. But the only thing with gaming is, for games, it really takes a lot of time and effort and iterations to actually make, good games. And I feel that, with DeFi, obviously, it's much easier to just fork like a DEX or AMM and just roll it out with a new token the next day. So I feel like for this cycle for play to earn, it's actually going to be much longer and kind of drawn out compared to the DeFi summer. I feel that, it's really, like you said, Michael, we're just like scratching the surface of the iceberg right now. And I felt that at that point in time, that was during summer, I was like, it's a no-brainer for us to position ourselves, as a leader in this new wave, because I felt it was inevitable, it was going to happen. And we already had these games, we already had a metaverse native community, crypto native community. And so I felt that kind of just innovating with the token model and applying it to a game that we already have mostly built, poker, Texas Hold'em, then, it'd be wildly, popular. And so, I didn't announce it to the community until I was like really, sure about the idea. I actually remember I announced it September 1st last year. I published a white paper that I had written over the summer. And then, we shipped a lot of, updates to that existing poker game. We added like the challenges. We, developed all the wearables, the whole process of leveling them up and upgrading, built all the smart contracts through that next 2-month period. And then we launched it, end of October. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. It was pretty amazing that we were able to get it live that soon, considering, we had just kind of published the idea on September 1st. So about a 2-month turnaround on that. And then, since then, we've really been honing in on how we can, grow this thing to 6 to 7 figures of daily active players sustainably. And so now we're kind of like putting on like the economist hat mostly, and really thinking about things of, the way like an economist would think about a country. This is kind of, how we're viewing ice poker and making the best decisions to grow it into something that, can sustain itself, has like equal burn to earn ratio of the rewards token, and has a really vibrant community of players. So it's obviously challenging, but, I think it's something where, we can really establish DG and ice poker as like one of the leaders in this kind of new space that it seems like even the biggest players are really venturing into now, with Facebook rebranding to Meta, and then, Microsoft even just acquired Activision today, like for 69 million or so, or billion.
Today?
So it's like, these are all metaverse gaming plays, I think. Yeah. And, I think, so basically we just see this huge wave coming, and we want to be early. So,
yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, that 2-month turnaround time. That's amazing. I'm gonna shout out to you and keep doing big things. And I'm going to look forward to upcoming and new features that I know you're going to roll out soon on Ice Poker and Decentral Games. So, congratulations on all your success, and definitely going to be rooting for you for more success and more awesome things with Ice Poker and Decentral Games. Appreciate you again for coming on, man. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and letting us all know a little bit more about Ice Poker. Appreciate you so much, Miles. Thanks a ton.